With 2019 quickly coming to a close and heading into 2020, it is now time to take a look at some of the upcoming PS4 games for January 2020, the first month of the year. And looking back to January of 2019, it was actually one of the most insane months for new game releases. We had Kingdom Hearts 3, Resident Evil 2, and Ace Combat 7, rounded out with a bunch of other games like the Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. January of 2019 was insane. I wouldn't say that January of 2020 is quite as good. It looks like a lot of developers and publishers are saving the heavy hitters for February, March, and April. However, January still has some exciting new game releases, and I want to go over 7 upcoming PS4 games in January 2020 that you need to know about. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and I want to kick things off with Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. This is a game that released all the way back in May 2018 on PC, and it's finally making its way over to the PlayStation 4. And since its initial release on PC, there have been a litany of updates released that have improved the game, and Pillars of Eternity in general is a really good isometric party-based RPG. If you played PoE 1, it was a really good game, and Pillars of Eternity 2 looks to build upon that. This one also has a lot more voice acting, so if that was one of the things that put you off to Pillars of Eternity 1, that is remedied in the sequel. The game itself has you pursue a rogue god over land and sea in the sequel to the multi-award winning RPG Pillars of Eternity. Captain your ship on a dangerous voyage of discovery across the vast unexplored archipelago region of the Deadfire. Bend the world to your will as you explore the depths of infinite possibilities, including detailed character customization, total freedom of exploration, and more meaningful choices at every turn. And of course, the fact that there are so many decisions to make and choices to make makes the game very, very replayable, and you'll immerse yourself in a deeper single-player RPG game experience enriched with cutting-edge technology and features. Deadfire builds on the foundation of classic D&D gameplay with vastly improved graphics, deeper game mechanics, and a whole new handcrafting adventure where choices truly matter. Of course, this is a game that isn't your traditional consoleized RPG. It is more suited for PC. However, the first game made a solid transition to the PS4 and the DualShock 4 controls, and I'm expecting something very similar out of Pillars of Eternity 2, as it will be released on January 23rd on the PS4. Next up, here's an RPG that's rather interesting, an open world one, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Yes, Dragon Ball Z is getting an open world RPG being done by CyberConnect 2, the same guys that have done the Naruto Storm games. They did Dot Hack back in the day. And Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is a pretty exciting game. It'll have you relive the story of Goku and other Z fighters in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Beyond the epic battles, experience life in the Dragon Ball Z world as you fight, fish, eat, and train with Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, and others. Of course, if you played one of the 10 billion Dragon Ball games that have been released at this point, or you watch the anime, you know what the story of Dragon Ball is going to contain. However, there's a lot of potential in other elements of this game. I'm really interested to see how they flesh out the world of Dragon Ball, because you're only going to get so much content just going through the story mode, and the general story of Dragon Ball as a fully fledged open world RPG needs to have other elements of the game, and there's a lot of potential. Is there side quests that maybe look at the movies? I don't know. There's a lot of things you can do with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. We do know that the main story of the game is going to encompass the beginning of the game to the end of the Buu arc, so you're getting the entire Dragon Ball Z story here. So you can experience the story of Dragon Ball Z from epic events to lighthearted side quests, including never-before-seen story moments that answer some burning questions of Dragon Ball lore for the first time. That is pretty exciting, and you're not just gonna fight as the Z fighters, you'll live like them, from flying, fishing, eating, training, and battling your way through the Dragon Ball Z sagas, making friends and building relationships with a massive cast of Dragon Ball characters. I think there's a lot of potential out of this game. CyberConnect 2 has been rather consistent with all of their outings, and I'm expecting something relatively good out of DBZ Kakarot. It drops January 16th. Next up, here we go, another RPG. The Atelier Dusk Trilogy Deluxe Pack is already available on the PlayStation Store to pre-order. It is $90. There is a 10% off discount for pre-ordering, $81. However, it does include 3 different games. You get Atelier Aishia, the Alchemist of Dusk DX, Atelier Eska and Lagi, Alchemist of the Dusk Sky, and you get Atelier Shali, Alchemist of the Dusk Sea. The deluxe versions of these titles from the Dusk series are now available as a specially priced 3-game set. a trilogy of alchemy-themed titles from the Atelier series, characteristic for its gradually dilapidating Dusk world and the fascinating characters that inhabit it. With character designs by Hidari, the Dusk world is richly depicted. And as far as the deluxe version features, you quickly explore fields with the newly added run feature, which is always nice. The tempo of battles is improved with the newly added fast-forward battle feature, and elements added to the Plus version and numerous past DLCs are included. So it is $81. You could alternatively buy the game separately. However, if you're into the franchise, you probably should just pick up the trilogy, as you will save a little bit. And $81 for 3 separate games isn't the worst thing in the world. Alright, next up, we have Moons of Madness. Moons of Madness is a first-person story-driven cosmic horror title where the scientific exploration of Mars meets the supernatural dread of Lovecraft. This was released on PC back in October, where it was a little bit more timely of a release with the Halloween theme. However, it will be coming to PS4 in January, and this is one that was received pretty well. Metacritic score isn't great at a 69, however, the Steam reception was a lot stronger, mostly positive at 76% positive, and recent reviews 80% positive, and it is a budget title at $24.99. Eurogamer IT gave it an 8 out of 10, GameSpew gave it an 8 out of 10, and PC Invasion gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. If you're into horror games and you're willing to give something a shot that's a little rough around the edges, I do think Moons of Madness is going to be a game to check out. Again, it'll be dropping in January, and as a budget title for $25, they priced it accordingly, and it will be nice to see this make the transition to the PS4. Alright, next up, Kingdom Hearts 3 is getting a significant piece of DLC in Remind. Now, if you were expecting Kingdom Hearts 3 to just get a small piece of DLC, that is not the case with Remind at all. It is a $30 DLC extension, so yes, at this point, Remind the DLC add-on is going to be more expensive than the game itself. Kingdom Hearts 3, you can regularly find it for around $15 to $20, but the DLC will be $30, which is kind of crazy. It will be adding a lot of content. You've got new Keyblades, new story cutscene, additional secret bosses, and the player will have the ability to switch between characters in specific portions of the DLC. Given that it's $30, I imagine that Square Enix is putting a lot into it, and based on the details and based on how long it took to actually develop this, I imagine that Remind is going to be a significant piece of DLC. It's due out January 23rd, so if you enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 3, that's going to be some more content to check out, although at some point I could definitely see a Kingdom Hearts 3 Complete Edition or whatever the case may be. It's Kingdom Hearts and it's Square Enix. They re-release games like no one else. I mean, look at Final Fantasy 15, we got the Complete Edition of that. Look at Kingdom Hearts as a franchise, all the different collections, the collections of collections. Kingdom Hearts 3 is gonna get another release. Maybe it'll get a PS5 port, who knows? But if you've already waited this long, maybe your best bet would be to wait for that, impending release of that Complete Edition, but nonetheless, Remind will be out January 23rd. Next up, Journey to the Savage Planet makes its way over to the PS4 on January 28th. Journey to the Savage Planet is an upbeat co-op adventure game set in a bright and colorful alien world filled with weird and wonderful creatures. As an employee of Kindred Aerospace, which proudly touts its rating as the 4th best interstellar exploration company, you are dropped onto an uncharted planet deep in a fictitious, faraway corner of the universe. Launch with high hopes but little equipment and no real plan, your job is to explore, catalog alien flora and fauna, and determine if this planet is fit for human habitation. Good luck and mind the goo. Obviously, this is going to see some comparisons to a game like No Man's Sky, as it does have that space vibe. However, presentation of the game is starkly different. And this is going to be one that's going to be exciting to check out on the PS4. Again, it drops January 28th. And lastly, I wanted to note a game that probably a lot of you guys don't know about, and that is Coffee Talk. It's a really well-designed, pixel graphics-oriented visual novel. It's a coffee brewing and heart-to-heart talking simulator about listening to fantasy-inspired modern problems and helping people by serving up a warm drink or two. A lot of conversation in this game, very much story-driven, so don't expect something that's super gameplay-oriented. However, it has tales of people from an alternative Seattle, a city where elves, orcs, mermaids, and many other fantasy races live together with humans in a modern world we all find familiar. Branching storylines where the branches are determined not by the dialogue options you choose, but how you serve your cafe customers. 90s anime-inspired pixel art visuals and chill vibes inducing color palette help to immerse you in the game's world, and a selection of jazzy and lo-fi music to accompany the late night of warm drinks and conversation. And again, Coffee Talk will be out January 30th. So that's gonna conclude this video. Again, if you compare January in 2020 to January of 2019, it's a pretty steep drop-off, but but as I mentioned, a lot of the major releases are being primed for February, March, and April, and when you still look at January, you got Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, you got DBZ Kakarot, you got Atelier Dusk Trilogy, Kingdom Hearts 3 getting significant DLC, Journey to the Savage Planet looks really good. There's still a lot of quality stuff coming in January, and that's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.